Welcome to that 80s show touched for the very first time.
I somehow doubt that.
Woo. That is fighting words. I'm a man without conviction. Why are we randomly quoting song lyrics? I don't know.
It's what we do.
Is it really though?
Sometimes.
What's
You really used to do misheard lyrics.
I did.
Those were good fun days.
But you know what we realize as we get older?
Yeah.
Every lyric is misheard.
Yes.
It's just not heard.
Yeah. What?
Unheard lyrics. What's your thoughts on people who sing music lyrics? So like you'll say, what will you say? You say, I've blanked now. Like, you'll say to somebody, wake me up. And then they'll say, before you go, then they start singing Wham. What's your feelings towards those?
I love it.
Do you love it?
I do.
Is it genre specific? So I gave you an 80s example, but like...
No, I think that it's fun.
Okay.
It's fun.
So like if the stove's hot
I have done it.
And someone goes, don't touch this.
Yeah.
And then you break into...
No.
Okay, so that's your thought on those people.
Do you not like it?
I think those people go into the same category as WhatsApp voice note people.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. I disagree wholeheartedly.
Do you think I'm just alienating a whole section of possible listeners?
Well, certainly my friend Trevor, who does it.
I know so many people who do it.
So many people.
Like, I think more people
Barrett
do it
does
than
it?
don't. Yeah, more people do it than don't.
Costa does it.
All right.
Many of our friends of that 80s show do it.
All right. So I've
watch
just alienated
what you
people.
say.
All right, I've alienated people. That's fair enough.
Yes.
Good mention of Barrett, the celeb savant. We birthed him as the he birthed him out of our bodies as the celeb savant. He's coming on the show soon.
Yes.
We're going
to do Chart Savant.
End of year Chart Savant. Yes. Fun game he made.
Yes.
If you missed it before, he basically loves charts. He didn't listen to Noddy or Paddington or Goldilocks and the Three Bears stories. He listened to the charts. He's got books on charts, and then he plays this fun game where he gives us charts.
He has charts on charts.
Charts. He has charts.
Yeah.
And we have to guess which year the charts are from. It's a lot more complex than that.
Yes.
It's a lot more complex.
It's nuanced.
Yeah, very nuanced. I'm probably going to have to remind myself how to play it. You haven't played it in a while.
He'll remind us, don't worry.
Oh, no, I have zero doubt that he will. So, Dori, I want to wrap up two things from the show last week because we come back. We owe
Go
people.
full circle.
Yeah, we owe people
It's a
that.
circle of life.
It is. It is. We spoke about Karma Chameleon last week.
We did.
The Culture Club song. And we said, what do the words mean? What does a Karma Chameleon mean? So, of course, intrepidly, I went to go find it.
Oh,
what
wow,
it
you
means.
did research?
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, Dori, geez, you do not understand the minutes of research that goes into the show every single week. Karma Chameleon, obviously, the Culture Club, Boy George's band. Boy George. I mean, who are the other guys that came out of it?
There was a guy named John.
Yes, John Moss.
Yes, John Moss.
Yes, John Moss. The band wrote it together and it came out on the album Color by Numbers in 1983. Color by Numbers, I feel there's a chameleon thing in there. Color, numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Works. What is the meaning behind Karma Chameleon? Boy George himself explained it's about the terrible fear of alienation that people have, the fear of standing up for one thing. It's about trying to suck up to everybody because basically, if you aren't true, if you don't act like you feel, then you get karma justice. That's nature's way of paying you back. So if you don't stand up, if you don't stand out, you're going to get justice, karma justice.
Where's the comedian coming?
I don't know. I suppose it just rhymed.
Well, I suppose it's like if you're a karma chameleon, then you
Switching.
You switch depending on where you are.
Depending where you are.
You're not being true to yourself.
Because, you're just chameleon. You're just adapting all the time instead of like sticking. So zero research and Dori figured it out. He wrote it with John Moss. Like you said, John Moss and Boy George had a very difficult relationship. They were very competitive with each other. And they also included their own personal challenges in relationships, saying, you're my lover, not my rival. Of course, that's one of the key lines. And the relationship was hidden to the public.
Because it was the 80s and you couldn't be
It was
gay.
the relationship, exactly.
Because everyone thought Boy George was straight.
George Michael, surprise. Boy George.
Posit for you, many men wore makeup in the 80s.
Yeah, but not like him. I do not think if you were surprised because Boy George didn't have like a great coming out moment. It was just like when it became acceptable.
But also, remember they called him the gender bender. Do you remember that? So there's a difference between gender and sexual orientation. But yeah, he just was never hiding.
No, definitely not. The song was written in Egypt while Boy George was on holiday in Egypt. The rest of the band didn't like the song at first, and they recorded it under duress. They said it sounded like a country and western song, mainly because of the harmonica, which was a huge song, selling 5 million albums globally.
The band might have said, okay, we were wrong when that happened,
I think so. I think once those royalty checks came in, they were like, okay. That's cool. It was the second number one after Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? I think I'm not a great fan of Karma Chameleon.
Really?
Yeah, I can take it or leave it. Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? I like that. That's probably my favorite Culture Club.
I think Karma Chameleon's mine.
No, I'm not nuts about Karma Chameleon. Another thing we missed last week, we're talking about the remake of Flash Gordon, and we were saying who could play various characters, and we happened upon Ming the Merciless. We said, only one man can play Ming the Merciless in our books, Tim Curry.
Yes.
Only to find out that Tim Curry is not that he doesn't act anymore, but he had a major stroke in 2012, which has confined him to a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He doesn't act anymore. He does voiceover acting, so he doesn't do any, so mostly voice work. And he, of course, makes appearances at fan conventions, etc. In 2020, he reprised his role as Dr. Frankenfurter at the Democratic Party for Joe Biden's presidential campaign. But yeah, he won't be playing Ming the Merciless.
Nope.
I did find out that Tim Curry is a keen horticulturalist, and he designed Freddie Mercury's garden.
Wow.
That is a real sentence. Tim Curry, the horticulturalist.
No euphemism.
Designed Freddie Mercury's bushes and his backyard. And Freddie Mercury came back from tour and said, "The garden, dear, it's dead." I said, "What? Did you water it?" And Freddie said, "Water it." Dear, of course. So that's not a story you expected to hear today.
Not at all.
Hey?
Not at all.
Tim
but I
Curry.
love it. I am also a plant killer. I am a fellow plant killer.
Yeah, I have a gardener who's a plant killer. It's not a...
That's very bad.
not quite the good combination. But, fantastic. Tim Curry tending to Freddie Mercury's bushes, as I assume many people did. It was experimental in those days. Now,
speaking of Freddie Mercury, when you hear a song that you haven't heard for a long time and you're like, oh my God, I'd forgotten how cool that song is.
Yeah.
I have one for you this week.
Oh, give it. Yes.
It's A Hard Life by Queen.
Oh, wow.
You got to think about it for a minute.
Yes, it's not one of the classics, but...
It started playing on my YouTube music, and I knew every word because that's how my brain works. I don't know anything that's going on now, but I remember all the lyrics from the 80s. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a great song. And I'd forgotten about it. But I had listened to it so many times back in the 80s.
Sure.
It's one of their really lovely songs.
It is.
Do yourself a favor. Listen to It's a Hard Life by Queen. Make you feel good.
After you listen to this podcast.
Yes.
Now, there's a story that popped up this week. It is going crazy. I can't believe you didn't pick up on it. I was really hoping that you wouldn't so that I could surprise you with it. Because I don't think you know about the story at all. And I love your
clearly don't.
Raw, unadulterated reactions. The celeb savant, he didn't even mention it because I was like, oh
yeah, he sends us lots of stuff.
Yeah. He's great. He's always feeding content to the show. I love it. Really appreciate it. But I was like, oh no, please don't let this one because it's been brewing for about a week. And I was like, okay, I need this to be fresh.
Is it Hoff related?
It is not Hoff related, Dori. It is bigger than the Hoff.
What's bigger than the Hoff?
Dori, this.
Okay.
This. The Hoff is normally, as much as I love him, we normally reserve Hoff stories for the end of the show when we're padding to make up the hour.
Okay.
This is mainline,
pre-movie review stuff.
That's the prime real estate in the show. If you're talking about content architecture, if I want to bore you with such, this is the main thing. So There is a Christmas song we love called Do They Know It's Christmas? Right? It is now going on 40 years.
Yes.
40th anniversary, released in 1984. Do we love Do They Know It's Christmas? Because it did keep Wham off the charts.
We do, even though we have acknowledged its weird lyrics.
Okay.
We do love it.
Park that there. Not for long, just put your hazards on, because they're not fully parking, you're just waiting now.
Okay.
40th anniversary. So now they released it in 1984, of course, Band Aid, which was like a supergroup.
Yes.
And we'll go through the members of the supergroup later, because I've got so many stories about this. So released by the supergroup, Bob Geldof put it together, of course, to help fight famine in Africa. And they've released it multiple times. Every anniversary, every anniversary. So they released one in 2004 and one in 2014, 30th anniversary. But this year's 40, big one. Big, 4-0.
Yeah.
So the geniuses, a genius producer, a money-grabbing producer, has decided he's going to make a mega mix for the 40th anniversary, combining the ultimate mix being released on the 25th. What's that? Monday.
Oh, the 25th of November.
25th of November. The show comes out normally on a Friday. You're listening to it Saturday. So it's Monday. Mm-hmm. So we can preempt this. We can bring it down. And you'll hear why. They're going to make an ultimate mix of taking all three sets of artists and making the ultimate mix. Do They Know It's Christmas to celebrate 40 years? In their ideal world, it's the ultimate mix will see a young Sting sing alongside a young Ed Sheeran, a young Boy George with a young Sam Smith, a young George Michael besides a young Harry Styles, the young Bono with an older Bono, Chris Martin with Guy Garvey, the Sugar Babes, and Bananarama, Seal and Sinead O'Connor, Rita Ora and Robbie Williams, Kool and the Gang, and Underworld. Other stars to feature include Paul McCartney, Sting, John Taylor, Phil Collins, Roger Taylor, Paul Weller, Damon Albarn, Midge, Johnny Greenwood, Gary Kemp, and Justin Hawkins. Not a new recording. They're taking all the other versions. They're taking all three versions and making a mega mix. Monday morning, across the UK, they're releasing the song simultaneously, all being played at the same time, multiple radio stations. Later that evening, the music video drops. We know what god-awful things are going to be happening here. There's going to be de-aging composition shit. They're going to be comping people together. There's a whole thing going on here. Give me your thoughts on that so far.
I'm literally speechless. Okay, it's probably going to be Christmas number one. That's obviously the aim.
That is the aim. But we on a bit of a... Listen, I love that song. Problematic lyrics. I love that song. It was of the time. It's great. It's so Christmassy. Fantastic. Supergroups. Wow.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Supergroups, this and We Are the World.
Yeah.
The first supergroup. Since then, everything's been shameless.
Yeah.
Supergroups are shameless. So I love the song. I could do without the remakes. I didn't even know there was one in 2014.
I didn't know either.
I knew about the 2004 one.
Did I? I might have.
Yeah. I knew about the 2004 one.
So what I'm going to do before Monday is I'm going to listen to all three versions. Well, I know the original one very well. I'll listen to the new versions. Mm-hmm. I'll imagine in my brain what it might sound like. And then I will let you know next week if I was disappointed or happily non-disappointed.
So this is the funny thing, right? So obviously, with 1980s, we know most of the bands in it. In 2004, Busted, Robbie Williams, Danielle Bedingfield, Snow Patrol, and Sugar Babes. Okay. 2014, we start getting, One Direction, I know them, Ollie Murs, Paloma Faith, Rita Ora, and the 2014 one was to raise funds for the Ebola outbreak. But it is not without controversy. This is why I don't think it'll be number one, because some of the people involved have said, we're not very happy about this happening. Okay? So a vocal critic, who I think he's quite key to your success, Ed Sheeran, has said, if I knew they're doing this, if they'd asked my permission, I'd say no. So I don't want them using it because obviously it is controversial in what it's saying. Damon Albarn is not happy about it. Lily Allen, who said, I would never do something. Lily Allen said, I'd rather give money than some vanity projects. I'd rather do something that helps.
So hang on. Are all these artists going to get royalties?
Somebody, obviously somewhere, Bob Geldof obviously owns the rights.
Oh,
so he doesn't have to ask them.
So no wonder they're not happy.
So they're not happy. His name is, I can't say I know this guy, but he's making good points. His name's, he's a rapper in the UK called Fuse ODG. He's criticized the song. He says it fuels pity rather than partnership. He's spoken about it, saying that treating the 1984 famine in Ethiopia as an African-wide issue would be similar to labeling all of Europe war-stricken due to the conflict in the Ukraine. Ed Sheeran, again, so I say, he said would respectfully have declined. Bob Geldof, this is where I kind of go, in 1984, Bob Geldof sticks. It's a fucking pop song, okay? We're thinking too much about it. Sorry, I'm going to keep forgetting his name, Fuse ODG.
Fuse ODG.
Fuse ODG.
Just call it Fuse.
He says that it's plays all into white savior complex. It plays into all of like these just bad stereotypes. It just plays into all of that, of which we know much better now. Now, I think Bob Geldof's stance in the 80s of it's just a pop song, I think you could have gotten away with it then.
Yeah.
You can't get away with it now.
He should rather say, yes, I admit in retrospect that those lyrics are not great. But at the time, I only had good intentions.
Which, of course, he did. But stop cashing in on it,
and
right?
Stop denying that they're a problem.
I think it's something that should have been left alone. It is
leave it
an
in the
80s song.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just so shameless. It really is shameless. 40 years. Just re-release the original with a better charity initiative, I don't know. Or just leave it. Just leave it.
So how did I miss this news? Like, how big is this news? I did miss it completely.
I mean, Dori, listen here. They're taking 40 years of artists, mega mixing them with a simultaneous release across all UK radio stations.
Okay, it's pretty big.
It's pretty big. It's even...
How did Barrett miss this?
Can I read you the opening piece from The Guardian?
Sure.
Written by Nels Abbey. Ed Sheeran, Fuse ODG. Do they know they're dead right about Band Aid? Africa needs more than a sing-along. Hey y'all, listen up to the chart bust and pop-picking time-addled DJ. Yes, indeed, Band-Aids, Do They Know It's Christmas is back with a bang, a twist and a mix. This time, our ultimate white savior anthem is ready for a generation weaned on AI remixes, a menage a trois of the original 1984 version mixed in with the 2004 and 2014 versions. Britain is about to feel good, and Africa is finally about to get fed. Wicked. Joining us to discuss is my mate, a fountain of all that is good in the world, the great Sir Bob Geldof.
Wow.
That is scathing.
Wow. That's shade.
Scathing. And that's The Guardian. So I'm like taking it from like a lot of kind of tabloidy sites or whatever. The Guardian has come two-footed to fuck you with your white savior anthem.
You see, I didn't get this because I don't have a Google alert for George Michael, which is how I assume you got it.
Dori, I'm on top of things.
Yeah.
You know, when you are confronted with the possibility that your co-host is, you know, batting her eyelids at other 80s podcasts, you've got to stay on top of your game.
Okay.
You know?
I haven't listened to it again.
Oh, I see. Good. Because you realized. But listen, guaranteed they're covering this week as well.
I'll actually check.
As all the 80s podcasts are.
I'm curious to hear what they would say about it.
Oh, are you?
Yes, because I wonder if they would be positive or scathing.
Go take a listen.
I will. I'll report back.
I mean, there will be no snow in Africa this Christmas. But what it leads me, Dori, down into the rabbit hole of the curse of Do They Know It's Christmas? Okay. We're going to talk
Christmas curse.
We're going to talk about the original cast, the original lineup of Do They Know It's Christmas, Dori, and just how many of the key singers on that
are still with us.
But also how many have been met with absolute tragedy, right?
You don't think that's a coinky-dink?
So we start with Phil Collins.
But that's just old age.
No, but he did have a very bad spinal injury that triggered a lot of his ailments now. Phil Collins, devastating spinal cord injury and 3 marriage breakdowns. I think he's pretty much confined to a wheelchair as now, and has kind of been as well now, and has kind of been making his final public appearances and can no longer perform. So it's just too painful to play drums, which is, tragedy.
So sad.
Sir Bob Geldof, of course, his wife died of I don't think they were married at the time, Paula Yates, but she died of a drug overdose.
Yeah.
And then his daughter also died of a drug overdose. Yes. So that was his tragedy. George Michael,
say no more.
Just don't even. We don't have to say anything about George Michael. We get that there. Although, Dori, it did lead me to this lovely photo of George Michael. We often don't see him with that hairdo. Very wispy. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. We don't often see that.
That is
We'll post
wispy.
this up. That 80 Show essay on Facebook. Mid-year. Huge alcoholism problems. Battled to this day. He still battles with it. He's coming here next year.
Yes, I was just about to say, but they're coming here next year, so maybe he's recovered.
Yeah. Paul Young, his wife had a son with another man before a brain cancer death.
Yo,
That's
a lot.
That is a lot.
I did not know that.
That is so much stuff. That is Paul Young, his tragedy. Sting lost both his parents within a year. 4 years after Band Aid, both his parents passed away of cancer within a year of each other. The Rick Parfitt of Status Quo, he died of sepsis. Now, this one is a little bit generous because he died of taking a lot of drugs and then fell off the stage, got infected, and then he died of sepsis. Dori, fuck me. We speak about Boy George. There was, obviously Band Aid, we know the big artists, but there were lots of artists involved, including someone called Marilyn.
Oh, I remember Marilyn.
Do you remember Marilyn?
I only know of Marilyn because of Number One Magazine. Number One Magazine used to have Marilyn in a lot.
Marilyn was like the kind of Timu Boy George.
Yes,
right?
Very much so.
One-hit wonder, wow.
Very much so.
Okay, so Dori knows Marilyn.
I do remember Marilyn.
If you don't remember Marilyn, it's a man. Well, yeah. Well, there's nipples here, and they're man nipples. Marilyn's life descended into heroin addiction after losing the love of his life, Gavin Rossdale. I did not know. Gavin Rossdale of Bush.
So there was a thing about how they had a thing.
I did not know.
It's very wishy-washy. I don't know. They might have had a
his
thing
story.
at some point,
You're passing, like George Michael kissing Madonna's brother.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Martin Kemp was given 10 years to live at one stage.
Well, I told you about that.
Yes.
The podcast.
Exactly. He had a brain tumor.
Brain tumor, yeah.
2 brain tumors.
But he survived.
Yeah. He's doing fantastically well.
Mm-hmm. With Shirley.
Of course.
Can I reel you back in after that tirade, or whatever you want to call it? There were way more artists involved in Band Aid who nothing happened to, and they were just fine.
Dori.
That is just life.
Dori.
Shit happens to people.
Okay, understand, yeah. But a segment called the Band Aid artists who everything's fine, it's not very interesting.
I'm just saying that whoever wrote this article was reaching.
It's not reaching, Dori. I understand what you're saying, but it's like the alternative is just not very interesting.
What happened to Bananarama?
I don't even have. You know what? I'm not going to dignify this. I'm not even dignifying. I'm just moving.
I'm just trying to be, what's the word? Sensible about this.
For the first time in that 80 show history, somebody will be sensible. So basically, we're going to try collapse. Do They Know It's Christmas? The re-release. Are we doing that?
No, I'm curious to hear it. And if I like it, I'll be honest.
No, you won't. Listen, you won't like it. I'm interested to see the music video because they're obviously going to do some cross time.
Oh,
remember when they did Nat King Cole and they did the video of them together? We've seen that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something like that. I am not averse to seeing an HD remastered George Michael. Mm-hmm. I think that could be a highlight.
Oh, all of them, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, listen,
Where
wait.
do you think it's going to be released? YouTube?
Yeah. So it's basically going to go live across the world Monday morning, and then the music video will go out in the evening.
I shall set a reminder.
No, you won't. I'll share it with you on our WhatsApp group.
Excellent. But I bet you, now that we've spoken about it, we're going to get a WhatsApp from Barrett later saying, oh my God, guys.
Well,
you know what's happening on Monday?
Listen, for me to keep this under wraps, I was so happy that it didn't leak out.
It totally didn't.
That you didn't see it. We are going to dive into our multimedia recommendation section. Each week we go to the 80s and find 80s adjacent content, if not totally 80s content. I've got for the first time a real dilemma on my hands that I think I have two movies, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to let you decide how we frame this.
Okay.
But first up, Dori has something. The way she described it was so cryptic. I don't even know if it was words that she was saying because I've never heard those words in the same sentence together.
Yeah. So I did promise a movie this week, but it'll be next week, hopefully.
Yes, you were going to do that. You were
week.
going to do that. It was a black and white movie.
It's not a black and white movie.
Oh, not? It was a black and white.
Parting Shots.
Black and white picture.
That was in one of your lists from last. Your listicle.
We're going to update that listicle because it's 60, 80s movies that we need right now.
Yeah.
We did 60 to 50 later on the show. We did 50 to 40.
Yeah. So I didn't have time to finish that, but it will be coming soon to a podcast
Big
near you.
screen near you, yes.
So instead this week, I want to talk about something that we touched on when I spoke about Calvin and Hobbes. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. You spoke of the documentary of the man who made it, yes.
Because Calvin and Hobbes was a phenomenon around the 80s. And something that came up a lot in that documentary was the cartoon that actually inspired so many people, like the guy who did Calvin and Hobbes, Chuck. Cannot remember. And I also remember as a child watching this on TV and thoroughly enjoying it. I'm talking, of course, about the Charlie Brown and Snoopy show.
I mean, I was skimming through one of the streaming services the other day and they got the new Peanuts movie on. And my wife got so excited. I said, Peanuts. I said, we seen that. I said, we saw it.
Yeah.
She couldn't remember, but she's going to watch it again. Nothing makes you happier than Charlie Brown and his relationship with Snoopy. I'll tell you, I'm a huge fan of Charlie Brown because he is the ambassador, the poster child, if you will, of premature baldness in children.
I thought, wasn't that Linus? Linus had very little hair.
But Charlie Brown had no hair.
Actually,
he's got no hair.
That's true. That's true. So using this as a springboard, because the TV show ran from 1983 to 1985, cartoon morning, what was it called? Saturday morning cartoons in America kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. But it was literally based on the comic strip.
Yeah.
So I really want to talk about the comic strip because I found so many fascinating factoids about it, Paulo.
You know what's a great thing that you don't get in the comics, that you do get in the TV shows and all the kind of adaptations?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the Charlie Brown Christmas, the Peanuts Christmas special.
Yes.
I know it was made in the 50s.
No, I think it's 60s or 70s, that one.
And then there was the Halloween one.
Yeah.
Those are always good. But the adults talking.
Yeah.
Love it. You don't get that in the comics.
It's a children-centric phenomenon.
Like, no, adults don't understand us. We don't understand them.
Yeah.
Only kids can speak to kids. We speak to dogs as a bird.
And the fact that the dog doesn't speak, but you can see his thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah. You understand exactly what's going on in his head.
Because we're
cool.
We're all a little bit of Snoopy at the end of the day.
Oh, man. Who doesn't love Snoopy?
We're all a bit of Snoopy, yeah.
So something interesting about Peanuts. Do you know, first of all, obviously, it was Charles Schultz? Yes, the creator. He hated the name Peanuts. He wanted to call the show Little Folks.
Yeah.
But there was a copyright thing because there was a show from the 1930s called Little Folks. And they said, and the network was like, And well, when I say the network, the media company that originally said they would publish his cartoon, because he started doing this cartoon in newspapers in 1940. 50.
Yeah.
Actually started doing one that led into it in the late 40s, which was called Little Folks. But then this newspaper company this media company were like, oh, we want to syndicate this all over to many newspapers all over the country. And they were like, nope, can't call it Little Folks. And literally just one of the people at the company had watched some kids' TV show where there was something called the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
And the kids were called Peanuts, and he thought that was clever, and he named it Peanuts. And his entire life, Charles was unhappy about this. And I did always wonder, why is it called Peanuts? There's not even a character called Peanuts in it.
Yeah, it's a true story. I thought that's what they found in Snoopy's poo. Eh?
It's horrible.
No, it's good.
Snoopy doesn't poo.
No.
That's terrible.
If Snoopy does, he obviously uses the toilet, right? Like a human toilet. He's not on the ground like a common law dog.
Well, I mean, if he uses a typewriter, he would use a toilet,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
I did not expect this conversation to take place today. I do want to go into... So obviously, like most cartoons, there's a lot of intellectual subtext to this where it's like he put a lot of politics and stuff into the cartoons. It was definitely multi-level. In fact, I remember not loving the cartoon as a kid.
Okay.
It was a bit too highbrow.
Okay.
And then when the animated show came on, then that somehow made it a bit more accessible as a child to enjoy it as a children's thing. But the cartoons had lots of political stuff in them. I mean, even...
I don't think you could have avoided it.
No.
In America at the time, I mean, it was right. I mean, they were in the middle of Vietnam War.
Then the 60s, then the 70s. I mean, do you know that the black character in the cartoon was inspired by Martin Luther King?
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Also, okay, you might get to it, but yes, I've heard of that before because he was always very sage. He was always like not into the other children's nonsense. He always like had a better understanding.
So let me Franklin is the African-American boy who first appeared at the suggestion of a reader following the assassination of Martin Luther King. Since it was Schultz's intention to achieve this without being patronizing, he didn't want to be this isn't going to be like a token character.
Exactly.
He is a relatively normal character who mainly reacts to the oddness of the other characters. It's just, look, these kids can all play together. Why can't adults?
Yeah, good point.
Basically. Yes. Other characters. Okay, Lucy is just an absolute troll.
Fucking Lucy. Like her main thing was obviously always, to kick the football. She'd always hold the football for Charlie Brown and always yank it away, no matter how many times.
Yes. So that's another point that was made is that what he did with this cartoon was it was actually so ahead of its time in terms of women's rights because the girls all played the boys' sports. There was no thing about it. It just was. It was just a thing. And then remember there was Schroeder who played the piano. He was obsessed with Beethoven. He just played. So he was like the kid who wasn't into sport. He was into playing the piano.
And you also have Peppermint Patty.
Yes, I was getting to Peppermint Patty.
Who was the best sports person and played in all the boys' teams and was the champion.
Peppermint Patty, total tomboy. Friend Marcy kept calling her Sir. This was the first trans character. That's basically all. There was other characters Woodstock the bird, obviously, as well. You mentioned. There's some other side characters, but it's just one of those legendary things.
I loved Rerun. To this day, we still have, because Rerun was the dirty kid. I think so. Rerun wasn't Lucy's brother, right? Because Lucy's brother was Linus.
Yes, Rerun was just
looked like Linus, but
I don't think he was just like a random friend.
What was he displaced?
I mean,
it makes sense.
Does make sense.
So let's take ourselves back mid-90s to the Sunday Times magazine. Remember that?
Of course,
Barry Wrongers. That was
what we did.
And the Sunday Times magazine was within the newspaper, the little entertainment business, self-contained magazine. It had Barry Wrongers' column. It had all the movie listings. It had the TV guide for the week. Remember that? We had the TV guide.
Yes.
You mark what you want. And, of course, it had the bumper edition of comics.
Yes.
Right? We're not just talking like daily newspaper just had a strip, 4 or 5 strips. You had a little bit.
No, this was pages.
Sunday was like pages. And it was none of the bullshit ones. It was all the premiere ones. Because we all know, you get The Citizen, you go to the comics. It's got Peanuts, fantastic. It's got Hagar the Horrible.
Yes.
Because that's a hierarchy, right? Peanuts, ace. Hagar the Horrible, cool. Blondie, nice.
I was about to say Blondie.
Then we
Blondie's
start
good.
getting into the shitty Wizard of Ed, the fucking cutoffs from the Prince Valiant.
Oh, those were the worst.
The Panther. Remember those? But there was like two like.
Wizard of Ed had its moments. I'm gonna defend
Maybe
it.
if it was too highbrow for me, too intellectual.
I liked it.
But once we start getting to it, even Andy Cap, it's like Andy Cap.
Andy Cap was for alcoholics.
You get it when you're older, you find it funny, but when you're a kid, you just go, "This guy is just like, what is going on here? I just don't understand."
Blondie as well was definitely for older people.
Definitely. Listen, the thing I didn't understand about Blondie is, well done, Dagwood. You are punching so above.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're just how
She had very pointy boobs. That's what I remember
she had
about
the whole
it.
thing.
Yeah.
And she was then, years later, she gets a job. Dori, I found Plex. You know, there's a Blondie and Dagwood movie on Plex from,
I didn't know
from
that.
1937.
Oh my God.
Do you know what the plot is?
What?
And it's not animated, it's acted, because Blondie's been around for years. Dagwood tries everything he can to stop Blondie getting a job. That's the plot of a whole hour-and-a-half movie.
Well, in its time.
30s, hey, that was a big thing. And that was Blondie. I think she was the first cartoon strip to show a woman working in the 80s. Huge. Oh, I knew I was in a world of shit when there was a Kathy. Ugh.
Oh.
And
worst.
then I know. It's like, oh, they done a Kathy double here. I don't know. So.
But the ones that had Garfield were the best.
Garfield Peanuts.
Was premium.
Garfield was always first. Garfield, you knew shit. And the Sunday ones, it wasn't just a panel. It was like.
It was a whole long thing.
It was a whole long thing, a story. Those were the days. Sunday Times Magazine, gone too soon. Good shout, Dori. Well done. Look, here's my thing. I
can't wait.
Here's my thing. Do we have time? Do we go for a longer episode today?
I'm game.
Because I have a movie. I've got two movies. So, cousin Louie, I wake up Sunday morning, WhatsApp from him. You got to watch this. It's a trailer of a movie. And I look at this trailer, I go, holy shit, what have I done? What is this? And then my mind goes, hold on a second. This is the second time you've actually seen this in a recent while, because there was an anniversary of the Terminator movie.
Okay.
And there was an article that I came across, a listicle of the top 10 Terminator ripoffs that you've never seen. And this movie was number one.
Okay.
All these movies from the 80s. I may get into it maybe next week. And I was like, what is this movie?
How many were there exactly?
Well, there were
top
10.
10. But when I'm saying top 10,
Exactly.
that implies that there were more than 10.
Exactly.
All from the 80s.
And listen, to call this a Terminator ripoff is very generous because it's the name. But anyway, it started somewhere in Terminator. So then I go, okay, no, I got to find, is this full movie somewhere? Let me find some other clips. What the hell is this? And I find a song that somebody's made. I'll put this up, that 80 Show SA Facebook, of all the scenes in the movie where it's basically, the song is called Shot in the Dick. And it goes, shot in the dick, shot in the dick, shot in the dick.
Hang on.
That
shot
in the dick. That dude got shot in the dick. And it's a cut of all the times in the movie somebody gets shot in the dick. Okay.
Wow.
So then I'm at a moral quandary.
Of course you are.
Because as much as I love bad movies, and there's so many bad movies. I could just do this whole segment, just bad movies. B-grade movies.
You mostly do.
No. But what I try to be an artist about what I'm doing, right? Because not only is it a bad movie, it's a foreign movie. It's a B foreign movie.
Wow.
Because I like to put some art. I like to go, is this a movie? Is there a major actor in it who should have known better, had some gambling debts to pay off?
Known better.
See, go back 40 minutes and understand. Right. So was there a reason this movie became so bad, right? So I like to do that because there's so much B grade. Unless the B grade is just so ridiculous. But even the one with the monkeys, with the monkey, But there were major actors in that.
Yeah.
John Carpenter, or there was big people. I can't remember. It was big people involved. There's always a big director. I like that. I like that shit. The one for me, one for you thing. So I was like, this is just too easy, though, to get a bad movie. But I've prepared some audio pieces for you. So the movie is called Lady Terminator.
Lady Terminator.
It's from Indonesia.
Of course it is.
Now this...
Isn't that the same place that had that other James Bond report?
I think that was Malaysia.
Okay.
The little James Bond.
The little James Bond.
That was Malaysia.
Okay.
So this is the kind of movie best randomly discovered on cable at 4 a.m. But if you dig guys with mullets, we have some serious treats in store for you. Major mullets in this movie. This movie isn't good, but it's totally worth watching because of how baffling it is. Now, the IMDb plot is the spirit of an ancient evil queen possesses the body of a young anthropological student who then goes on a murderous rampage. Okay? That's the IMDb. IMDb sober.
Right.
Wikipedia, which is, fan edited, a lot of stuff sneaks in there. Mm-hmm. Wikipedia describes it as the queen of the South Sea, an ancient sex goddess, seduces men before using a serpent that resides in her vagina to devour their penises.
Very specific.
Yeah, so it's two very different approaches to how you're describing the same movie.
Very.
But not wrong.
Both correct.
So, Dori, what I'm going to do is, and this is a very novel thing. I'm quite pleased with what I've done here. I'm going to let you experience this movie through I've got a handful of sound effects, and you will 100% get what this movie is all about.
Alrighty.
So we're going to start off with the plot of the movie.
You have tricked me. In 100 years, I'll have my revenge on your great-granddaughter.
Okay.
Got it?
She sounds evil.
Yeah.
So what happened is that, to tell you what happens there. A man seduces her, doesn't realize that this serpent, it's actually more of an eel that resides in her vagina, comes out to eat him, but he grabs it.
Okay.
And he turns it into a dagger because he's also magical, powerful, whatever, a godlike. And she's now upset with this guy, and eons later, going to get revenge on the granddaughter. The granddaughter...
I'm not a lady, I'm an anthropologist.
That's her.
Before we go any further, cast, anyone we know?
A lady called Barbara Ann Constable who spends most of her role naked. Though anytime you see her boobs, you know you're about to see blood too. That's how it's described.
Got it.
Okay. Next bit of plot point. So now you understand. Evil, she's not just a lady. She's an anthropologist.
Yeah.
What is in this book may bring you to a fate worse than anything.
Okay, so there's a book.
Of course there's a book.
There's a magical book and a man.
You read too much, bloody woman.
Okay. Attitudes of the 80s. Because they're on a boat now. She's an anthropologist. She's trying to discover
Does
in
she
the
wear
sea.
glasses?
She wears, but she's takes them off. She's got to be sexy anthropologist.
Yes, but I'm saying when she's anthropologist,
she
she's
wears
wearing the
glasses. Yeah.
And then when she has to be sexy, she takes the glasses.
Yeah. But now
Kind of like Clark Kent.
the guy who's on the boat with her is like, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're just a bloody woman.
I hope his penis gets bitten by the snake.
Well, Dori, his penis does not get bitten by a snake, but there are some bandits about.
Yeah, let's go to the pub or work and no play.
So these guys want to go to the pub. But what happens at the pub?
Hey, you serve beer here or just milk?
So they're being dicks at the pub. Mm-hmm. Okay. Why are they at a pub, Dori? I don't know
I thought
why.
they were on the boat.
These are guys who have now, so what's happened? I couldn't find a sound effect for that. She's jumped off and now she's been possessed.
Right.
I should have added that. It's quite crucial. Right.
Okay.
She's jumped off the boat to go research. She, if you haven't figured out, is the daughter
Got it.
getting the curse put on her.
The granddaughter.
The anthropologist. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's the granddaughter. She's going to get a curse. As she jumps in the water, the sea goddess can get her and puts a curse on her, right? And possesses her, right? Oh, I should have mentioned that. That's very crucial.
Got it.
Right, so she possesses her. There's shenanigans happening on shore, guys at a bar. They're being dicks to everybody. mostly being dicks to women, being dicks to the bartender, and this woman's now being possessed. The serpent now goes where the serpent goes. It's got to live somewhere. So remember, these guys?
Hey, you serve beer here or just milk?
Being dicks. Mm-hmm. She comes out, sees they're being dicks. She's super naked. This is where there's a bit of a Terminator crossover because she appears in the town naked. No clothes.
So far, the only Terminator crossover, I'd like to add.
Yeah. No, there's major Terminator crossovers later. Okay. So she appears in the town now. Happens upon these guys who are dicks, and she hates men. She's been possessed by the sea goddess, by the way, the queen of the South Sea. If you haven't,
has hated men for centuries.
Yeah, because he took the eel out of her.
Yeah.
These guys are being dicks, so they meet their fate.
It says here all 3 of these guys died with their cocks bitten off.
Is that the cop?
Yeah, that's the cop in the mortuary. Okay.
So far, you are selling this movie beautifully, by the way.
Okay, good.
Just want to give you
it's the theater of the mind. It's the magic of sound effects, right? Oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
She's bitten them off.
Yeah.
Okay, because she goes to seduce them. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, sexy lady, you're nude. You're obviously my property. Make a move. I'm a demon.
Bye-bye.
Eat it off. I want to play you. This scene is where the got shot in the dick part comes from. She takes the guys who she's killed. She's bitten their dicks off. She's taken their clothes because they're gangsters. So she now puts on leather. Second Terminator crossover.
Did they just bleed to death? How do they die from that?
From fucking being soy shit.
I mean, I know most men would not want to live without them, but I don't know if you would die.
No, she's aggressive.
Okay.
She's doing and she's doing it. She just wants to kill all men. I don't know why. Because she wants. Well, I know why. Because he took her eel.
Right.
Now, she just wants to go kill all men now. So she just gets a gun and goes on a rampage, shooting.
But she has the ill.
She's got a new. Dori.
Okay. Sorry.
Hey, you serve beer here or just milk?
This is the movie.
Okay.
She now goes on a rampage, gets a machine gun, which never runs out of ammo, and just goes through the police department, the military department, just shooting everybody but in the dicks. Now, you're going to hear a lot of gunshots, and then you're going to hear a thud at the end of this next clip. Listen closely. So did you hear that thud?
Was that someone's dick falling off?
She shot a guy constantly. She shot him into meat.
Right.
You know, Clarence Whitaker stuff. She shot him into meat. He's meat. He's on the floor. She kicks him between the legs. Just to go, man, I hate you. Going to kick you. You're lucky I didn't bite it off. More action. Now you're in action. Screaming. There's a damsel.
Yes.
As you could hear, there's a damsel. In between, there's sex scenes. I can't play those clips. In between all of these actions, there's sex scenes. So many. I can't believe it's not
Was
porn.
this a 2 to 21?
Jesus. They didn't even, it was just even, that's why I say it's too easy. There's more action.
I can't believe this shit.
More action. Now, randomly out of nowhere, these guys come to save the day. One of them being a man called Snake. He's a man described as a man with a golden mullet. Okay?
Okay.
He's an Indonesian man with a golden mullet. He's played by an actor called Adam Stardust. Not porn. Not porn. His name's not Adam Stardust. He's got a very Adam Indonesian name. But then they just put Stardust to appeal to American markets. It's described here if, because he just comes out of nowhere, him and his guys, to rescue and save the day. They speak like Ninja Turtles, him and his guys. Okay? It's described Snake is only in the movie for a couple of scenes, but he leaves a hell of an impression. I dare you to not fall in love with his ginger mane blowing in the wind as he sits atop a tank. Okay. Now, I want you to listen to him and his friends saving the day. Yeah! You can... Oh.
Fuck you!
Oh. Wow.
All right!
Yeah.
What the hell?
Ooh.
Die, motherfucker!
Ah!
That should be enough to kill anybody.
Ooh.
What's going on?
Is this movie dubbed?
Yes.
Just checking.
But all the
there's an original.
But all the white actors speak English, and all the Indonesians are dubbed.
Okay. All right.
Okay, too easy to be bad. The next Terminator crossover, up till this point, it's all been very mythological, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of it's based in Indonesian myth, sea, goddess of the sea, all that. Suddenly, when they say, what's going on? They're now shooting her with lasers and guns, and they got rocket launchers, and they're shooting at her, she's shooting dicks, they're shooting things at her.
And nothing's happening.
They think they kill her. She goes like, suddenly she's a robot. Suddenly.
Just out of the blue.
She's the T-2000 underneath her skin.
Okay.
Now she's a robot shooting lasers out of her eyes. This has not been part of anything.
I thought she was the granddaughter and an anthropologist.
I'm not a lady, I'm an anthropologist.
Remember?
Exactly.
Not a robot. There's been no robot. Now she's a robot. But they go, okay, listen. We just got to unleash more firepower, and here's the final fight scene.
Yeah, eat it, you bitch. I'm out of here.
And they win. And he runs away. And doesn't even take his glory. Lady Terminator, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Very tenuous links to Terminator.
Was, hey?
Very.
Leather jacket, appeared nude, but I don't feel that was a Terminator reference. I think if you're looking for it, you'll find it, but there was a lot of nudity. And then she is a robot underneath.
Unexplained.
So, do you think I should recommend that movie?
I mean, part of me is kind of curious to watch it. I'll be honest.
Do you know that it has so much nudity in it that it's not on YouTube?
It's on Plex.
Not even.
Oh, my God.
Lady Terminator.
Never heard of it. What year?
Sorry, timeless.
Okay.
Timeless. Should that be my movie recommendation? Was that enough? Do you feel
I feel that was enough, but I'm also curious about what else you've got.
I'll hold it over for next week.
Will
because I quite like the way you responded to that. I think it was a lot visually in your mind. Lots of sound.
I think you can call it a recommendation or a warning.
Yeah.
Both.
Well,
Both apply.
It is what it is. So that's Lady Terminator. But again, I don't want to go too much into finding terrible, terrible movies. They've got to have a something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for all young girls out there.
I'm not a lady, I'm an anthropologist.
It's a time of year where I like to look in 80s land for Christmas gifts, 80s related Christmas gifts. I went to the usuals, George Michael, all our favorites. Thomas Anders doesn't have any special Christmas stuff this year.
No advent calendar?
No advent calendar. No Christmas.
Speises?
The normal Speises. The summer Speises. They're not even like, winter.
Grapes?
Yeah. I don't know. No, there's wines. He's got his wines, but nothing. His baubles, his Christmas baubles that you hang on the tree. But I thought, you know what? There's this fantastic worldwide site called Temu. And let's go see what 80s related things I can buy for my wish list. Christmas. I want to buy people 80s related gifts, Dori.
Okay.
So now listen, I have to put a disclaimer. Because on Temu, anything you can print a something on, you can get it. So of course I went MacGyver, Knight Rider, The Half, Back to the Future. Like, there is so much, but it's like a towel, a t-shirt, a cap, a duvet set. It's like
a tote bag.
A tote. If you can print on it, it's there. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. I mean, obviously, it's there. There's some really nice 80s related stuff, 80s costumes, like 80s like dress up costumes. There's a lot of really nice 80s inflatables. I thought that's cool. That's nice. But I was like, it's not odd enough. I got to find odd things. So the first thing I found, Dori, is a range of mullets for the boys and the girls in all sorts of styles, no matter what your hair color, no matter what your skin tone. You can find a mullet on Temu.
These are wigs?
They're wigs. That's how good they are. I can't believe it's a wig.
I can't believe that is wispy.
The main one looks like Andre Agassi.
Yeah.
There's one if you've got red hair. So there's a range of mullets.
For only 208 rand.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Described as Hair Joy men's synthetic mullet wig. It's got 130% density. So expect...
That's more than 100% density. I don't understand.
That's math, Story. You're quite right. There's one here that makes you look a little bit like Ridge Forrester if you get this mullet. But so that's mullets. That's a good stocking filler. I also found something that I quite like. Donald Trump is a very 80s person. That's when he kind of like came to our consciousness. But a calendar, a 2025 calendar called the Trumpinator 2, I'll Be Back. And it's got Donald Trump's head superimposed on the key scenes of Terminator.
Right. A lot of Terminator stuff in this week's show.
Hey?
Yeah, Trumpinator.
So
that's for Trump fans.
Or Terminator fans.
Maybe.
But mostly Trump fans. Listen, we're going to be staring at Donald Trump's face every single day for the next 4 years. It may as well be him as the Terminator. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I also found, Dori, this is very nice for you, George Michael. I found a George Michael pillow.
Aww.
Yes, look, it's lovely. All these will go up that 80 Show SA Facebook page with a link to our wish list of where you can send it direct to our house.
Hang on. Hang on.
It's a cushion.
It is a cushion, but it has a very evil-looking George Michael on it with the words, "Last Christmas I gave you my heart," and he's literally holding a heart, a human heart.
Okay, Dori, no, that is not a heart. That's a bauble.
That is a heart.
Fucking hell, that is a heart.
Did you not notice that that was the picture? It's like evil George Michael.
I'm not hating it.
No, it's pretty.
It doesn't make it worse. It's a Last Christmas Whamaghetto design cushion cover. I love it more. I actually love it more. Okay. Oh, if you've ever needed a reason to go to that 80 Show SA Facebook page, is to see that cushion. Mm-hmm. I also found a Christmas card you can send to people. You want to read that?
Wake me up before you ho-ho.
Yep. So that's George Michael.
With a picture of George from the music video and a Christmas hat as a cartoon.
So now, as Temu, they don't have official license on anything. It's titled the Michael Wham 80s music-themed Christmas card. The Michael Wham. No exclamation mark. We don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
And it's not a picture. None of these are pictures of George Michael. They're crudely drawn pictures.
Yes.
Of George Michael.
Very obviously him.
You can buy a not Marty McFly. Back to the future figurine.
Oh, it's a figurine.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a life-size sex doll.
Shit, Dori. Don't yuck on people's yums.
No.
Lesson
but
of life. So it's.
There was no scale.
You know what the thing is? So it's like, obviously it's not an official Marty McFly Back to the Future toy, but it's 800 Rand. Like, I'm pretty sure I could buy an official one for like 1,000. So anyway, I had to get some Dolph Lundgren stuff. I couldn't find anything more, but it does have nipples. But it's a poster for an aluminium poster of Masters of the Universe.
Okay.
So it's got him there, nipples. So I think
you could just buy a bunch of those and just cut out the nipples.
Yeah. So that's some of the things that I found, 80s things. But then I thought, you know what, Temu, yeah, it's great. You can get free, cheap stuff. You know, I bought on Temu for the first time. It's way too admin for someone like me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you got to buy, then there's, firstly, it's fucking hell. Like, working out Temu is like playing like fucking Super Mario World 3, like when half your screen's gone. Like, then there's a spinning thing, then there's a discount thing, then ask you to add, then it says add one more thing and you get 10,000 Rand off, and then it's like, and your purchase is like 3 Rand, and then you got to pay customs, and then the
customs are high.
It's not. It's just that you have to do them. It's an extra thing. But it's like, I like buying from sites, and then I buy, and then I forget, and then I get a message. Oh, you got something. Oh shit! It's like a little Christmas present to myself. You know, to those with bad memories. You know, it's like getting little Christmases, and that's fine. But I'm going to plug a friend of ours, a dear friend, Noel Opperman.
Yes.
He started making merch on the Pretoria Retro Fair website, retrofair.co.za. They got a store. And Dori, they have so many fantastic 80s things. A lot of the stuff there, T-shirts, caps. I've already, listen, I've, people in my life, if you're listening to this, I've got things with your names all over this. Dori, I just want you to scroll through it. He's got little enamel pins, T-shirts, caps, posters, so badges. There's a rabubi. Now, if you're not a South African, speak to a South African about the late 70s Spider-Man cartoon, and they don't know Spider-Man. They call it rabubi. There's rabubi buttons there. So support our friend. Noel
These
Opperman.
badges are very nice.
The badges, like fucking.
Very nice.
Have you seen the Back to the Future Sports Almanac one? So
Not yet.
he's done one that looks like the Back to the Future.
I like the one that's like a series of videotapes, and it's Halloween,
There's a whole
Friday
bunch.
the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw
Yeah.
Massacre, and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Looks like a video store shelf. There are band buttons. You know, really nice. Not much Wham, but I think he could, after hearing this, might go, okay, let's put a Wham. There's an Airwolf cap there that I'm after. There's a Back to the Future cap there that I'm after. Retrofair.co.za store.
The Rabobi is very cool.
The Rabobi is like makes my dreams come true.
And they're so cheap.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my goodness.
20 ZARs in some cases.
Yes, 20 bucks for the badge.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm going to be shopping on here.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
So Temu, great.
I'm going to buy this Prince one for one of my colleagues. He's obsessed with Prince.
Let's see.
I'm totally going to buy this for him.
Yeah. So that's it. Dori's sold. I hope you're sold. I hope you're going on retrofair.co.za
Oh, yeah.
right now. Support our friends.
Oh, the Back to the Future.
The Back to the
badge is
Future,
so cool.
everything. There's DeLoreans. There's Back to the Future, everything.
Synth wave.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So he's gonna bankrupt me. He's gonna basically bankrupt me.
But not really, because the prices
No, the
are
price is really good.
This is cheaper than cheaper than Temu.
No, it
means a lot.
I think it is cheaper than Temu.
Yeah.
Plus, we're supporting South African businesses. Isn't that a good thing to do?
Yeah. You should buy this Friends shirt for cousin Louis.
Oh no, I've got a whole list of things. Like I say, it's going to bankrupt me, but everyone in my life, I'm buying all your gifts from one place for 20 rand. For 20 rand, but the Friends T-shirt, I don't know if you saw, it's the Beatles.
Oh no, I didn't look that closely.
Yeah, so it looks like Friends, but the Friends are the Beatles.
Oh,
It's not the Friends.
goodbye with little help from my friends.
Oh my God, every time I look, you see, and if you sang it, there'd be a problem. Every time I look at this, I see something new. Now I'm seeing these other Back to the Future pins. I saw the Ghostbusters one.
The Ghostbusters one's very cool.
Oh my God. Okay, anyway, so that's us for Christmas gifts, right? Mm-hmm. I want to finish off on our list. You mentioned it earlier about Harper's Bazaar put together a list of the best 80s movies that we need in our lives right now. And not just right now, always.
Yes.
So we did number 60 to 50. We'll post the list up on that 80 Show SA Facebook page. Number 49, I know you are a big Studio Ghibli fan. You've done a couple of movies. I think you've done this Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh my God, of course I've done
Yes,
it.
you have done
It was the really depressing one of the maggots.
Oh, yes. I was very upset for weeks after that one.
Yes.
So that is number 49. Number 48, you've also done this movie, Glory. Good movie. We need it in our lives.
Total classic.
This one is way too low. But maybe I'm putting my own personal feelings about Jennifer Beals into this flash dance at number 47.
No, that's way too low.
Way too low. Way too low. I mean, I know there's
Has to be top
a
20
lot of good
minimum.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, reminds me of Jennifer Beals. So, I mean, I'm not gonna hate on that. 46, Desperately Seeking Susan.
Oh, what a great movie.
I started watching it again the other day.
It's so good.
Put it on. I started watching it.
And it hasn't even dated that badly.
I was dated nightmarishly.
Come on, I disagree.
So of the time. It's very
Such a clever story, though.
love it.
It really is.
Not
Do you know that we did that in film school?
really.
We did.
Susan, not Susan Sarandon.
No.
No. Okay. Number 45, Adventures in Babysitting. Good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is.
Higher than Flashdance.
Yeah, come on.
Number 44, Valley Girl.
I don't know Valley Girl.
We have done it with Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
It's kind of a bit of a,
Okay.
they call it a new age, a new wave reimagining of Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
Yeah. Because there was the valley, you couldn't go into the valley. People were in the valley. Was somebody a vampire? I can't remember.
Wasn't that 2 Days in the Valley?
Could have been. Number
Maybe.
43, The Karate Kid. I'm going to take it at this point to just mention, I have been a big advocate of Cobra Kai. I've really given Cobra Kai a chance. I was a fan of Cobra Kai. I watched the first Cobra Kai when it was still on YouTube, when YouTube were trying to launch a Netflix thing.
Yeah.
That's when I watched Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Big advocate, loved it, try to get involved. This latest season, it's fucking gone too far now. Even
I'm
for
so
me.
glad I stopped.
No, it is. Even I'm like, no, I cannot fucking do this anymore. It's just.
It's the last season though, isn't it?
No, it won't be because then there's a movie.
Oh no, then give up now.
No, it's like, I can't. It's like, I just wish there was a supercut where all I could watch is Johnny Lawrence scenes or just fast forward because now, even me, I'm so.
What's happening that's so far-fetched?
Oh, Dori, no, it's not even. Firstly, these kids are the most angry fucking kids anyway. These kids need to be in a detention center on major medication.
Yeah.
They have too much. Martial arts is supposed to teach you to be restrained.
Yes.
These kids are constantly they're constantly fighting their dicks. It's like these adults are way too involved in the shit that's going on. It's just, I'm really not.
It sounds like I'm so glad I gave it up when
And
I did.
the acting, you know, there was a point where I was like, okay, they know how bad their acting is and they're leaning into it. Now I'm like, I think these people have lack of access to oxygen. Lack of access to oxygen is what they have, like me, right now. No, it's very, very bad, very bad.
Okay, but Karate Kid's very high up in this list.
43, I mean, very low down.
That's what high up in numbers, low down in stature, yes.
Because for what it was.
Yeah.
Number 42, The Color Purple.
Okay.
Never done that movie, way too serious for us.
Yeah.
Way even for you. Number 41, Salam Bombay from India, Bollywood. It's a gripping drama that unfolds through the eyes of a street child who ekes out and living among likewise marginalized characters. Salam stays true to its end credits motto, no guts, no glory. Oh, is that a fighting movie? I don't know. And number 40, oh, you're not going to be happy with this. Pretty in Pink.
So far down?
Number 40. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to just carry on to number 30. 39, My Neighbor Totoro.
Way too far down.
38, La Bamba.
Okay.
La Bamba higher than Karate Kid, though. It's on this. But anyway, remember the movie.
La Bamba higher than Pretty in Pink.
Let's stop doing.
on.
You know what? Like,
Let's just let it go. We're going to let it go.
There's got to be there's got to be an order. I don't think they said.
I'm very curious
definitive.
about what number 1 is now.
Number 37, Desert Hearts. Number 36, Cinema Paradiso. That is a Dori movie.
Classic.
That is a Dori movie. 35, 9 to 5.
Working 9
See,
to
did it there. Number 34, Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee movie.
Oh, come on.
Number
Great movie.
33, The Outsiders. Good movie.
Done it.
Number 32, Footloose.
What? Not even top 10?
So I'm saying it's not definitive.
I mean, you know how I feel about Footloose.
It's not a ranking.
so stupid. But it's a classic.
I thought maybe there's an alphabetical ranking here, but it's not. 31 is Fame. And number 30, Dori's going to War the Breakfast Club. At number 30. Yeah, aghast.
I thought that might have been number 1.
Aghast, Dori is. So that is Harper's Bazaar. They're not saying the top 60 movies. They're just saying the 60 movies we need. 60 80s movies that we need in our life right now.
I mean, I can't argue with any of those.
No, nor should you. This has been That 80s Show. Sorry about the loud music there. I was just making sure I played the right track and not some weird sound clip from Lady Terminator.
You know you wanted to.
Yeah, probably. Thank you for joining me, Dori. Everything you heard on the show today can be found on That 80 Show SA on Facebook. Support us in 2 causes. First cause, bring down the new version of Do They Know It's Christmas. Destroy it. Tell a friend. Shut your ears. Do something.
Only listen to Last Christmas.
Exactly. We are entering, I think is this the last show before Whamageddon starts? No, we got one more show. We'll give a public service announcement then. Do not partake in it. It is a gateway game to hating it. And just understand that if Band Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas, this abomination, I think the irony is going to be people are going to love the old one so much that the old one's going to go to number 1 and not this new cash grab.
You think?
Everyone wins anyway.
Yeah.
Bob Geldof still gets the money. So do that. And second thing, lots of times, stocking fillers, main gifts, retrofair.co.za store. Buy some. Dori's birthday next week. Don't tell her, but I ordered some stuff for her. And everyone else, I know that's what you're getting for Christmas. Thank you for joining me, Dori.
Bye.
Goodbye.